Welcome to Webzine Special for Car World and International Automotive.
I don't believe we're giving much away by saying we're devotees of what Volvo are up to nowadays. What's more, when the architect of the XC40 said he needed to make an extreme little robot, we felt we could instantly observe what he was getting at. For our cash, however, I think we'd most likely compare this most recent Volvo to a devoted imposing puppy, and the additional time we went through with it, the more prominent the sentiment man's closest companion moved toward becoming. Instead of take something greater like a XC40 and simply scale it down in the scanner, Volvo have rather made an outline with its own unmistakable character, and afterward built a littler stage to hang it on. In the tissue, it's somewhat greater than you may expect, but on the other hand it's stuffed with very much settled points of interest, from the well-known Thor's hammer running lights, the sunken front grille, the engaging determination of compound haggles, the initial couple of autos in any case, this adorable little Swedish banner. The lodge is well thoroughly considered, as well, with perfect touches, for example, the sat snare that flips out from the glove box, entryway receptacles that can without much of a stretch suit a PC and a container of water. On account of the speakers being migrated to the dashboard, little openings for charge cards. Or on the other hand stopping tickets, under-seat capacity plate, a vast storage room under the armrest, finish with lift-out waste container, and the choice of a remote charging cushion for your telephone. Traveler space may shock you. There's that same sentiment extensive size you get further up the Volvo Extend, the same spectacularly agreeable seats, and in the back a couple of 6-footers will be more than upbeat, regardless of whether you've settled on the discretionary sunroof. The boot's greater than you might suspect, as well, at 586 liters, ascending to 1,336 with the seats collapsed. There are sat snares in the boot dividers, and a discretionary split collapsing floor with its own incorporated snares to prevent your shopping from mixing itself in transit home. Somewhere else in the inside, you get that same premium Volvo feeling we're accustomed to, beginning with engaging completions over the dashboard and entryways, some of which are elegantly lit up during the evening, a similar clear, computerized instruments, and a similar touchscreen interface that we've developed to love, in spite of the fact that despite everything we'd favor a couple of more physical controls, for example, for the temperature, for example. There are a couple of changes to give away that you're 2 or 3 rungs down the stepping stool. However, Volvo's twisty-turny motor begin control is presently only a straightforward catch on the dash, and rather than the thumb wheel there's a solitary drive mode catch. Apple CarPlay is as yet an additional cost choice, just like a turning around the camera, both of which as far as we're concerned truly should be incorporated as standard. However, the XC40 makes up for it with treats. For example, self-stopping and a large group of highlights under the organization's Volvo On Call flag, from crisis help to having the capacity to begin and warm up your auto remotely. Right now, the motor range comprises of 3 petroleum and 2 diesel units, beginning with another 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-barrel petroleum with 156 horsepower, trailed by a couple of 2.0-liter 4-barrel units with 190 and 247 horsepower. Diesels are 150 or 190 horsepower, while a couple of twin-engine module electric half-breeds will take after somewhat later. None are what you'd call moderate. Truth be told, even the lowest T3 diesel hits 60 miles per hour in about 8 seconds, while the T5 gets you there in only 6.2. Everything except the D3 and T3 get all-wheel drive as standard, and keeping in mind that the framework defaults to front-wheel drive to spare fuel, it can redirect up to half of the motor's torque to the back when it needs to. All-wheel drive is constantly connected with from a halt, as well, so escaping neatly is simple, and while horsing a roundabout on the shoreline doesn't consider going 4x4 romping, the XC40 boasts conventional ground freedom of 211mm and a 450mm swimming capacity. Obviously, most XC40s will likely invest their energy beefing around town, and it's here that you'll find that it drives, all things considered, similar to a Volvo. A few makers invest their energy slamming against about how their autos have been tuned on the Nürburgring. However, the thing is, the vast majority don't realize what that it is, not to mention have any enthusiasm for driving around it. Gratefully, Volvo adopt a more down-to-business strategy, and the outcome is an auto that has light guiding for simple mobility, a very much judged, agreeable ride, and consoling dealing with. Be straightforward, On the off chance that you needed the last word in cornering, you wouldn't take a gander at a SUV? In any case, the XC40-NR design spec at any rate shocks with quicker and complement handover than we were anticipating. Be that as it may, it does as such without relinquishing that since quite a while ago legged, mile-chomping, mainland crossing capacity we've come to acknowledge from its greater siblings. We'll need to hold up until we've possessed the capacity to invest more energy with the XC40 to offer any feelings about mileage. However, the one disillusionment for us is that the fuel tank is fairly little at only 53 liters. What's more, I figure you could state everything gets somewhat expensive once you pick a couple of choices. Costs begin at £27,350, however it doesn't take much to wind up prodding 40,000. In any case, showcase investigators are citing lingering esteems well over its opponents, and we hear there's presently a significant holding up list. That is not really astonishing. What's more, regardless of whether you think it would seem they were robust or imposing, as far we're concerned the XC40 is essentially the canine's bollocks.